Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III here with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. I want to talk to you today about a thought that I have, but before I do that, I want to give you the quote of the day. The quote of the day is by one of my favorites, Michael Jordan, and the quote is, "I can accept failure, but I cannot accept not trying." I love those words because, number one, he is an absolute champion. And as we say a lot of times, your perspective is going to determine your prosperity and happiness. And so being able to say to yourself you can accept failure, but you just cannot accept not trying is two completely different thoughts that I love. One is that, you've got to learn to accept the failure, right? Because Michael Jordan, just like many great athletes or great champions, have had many failures. But you have to be able to say to yourself, you'll never accept quitting. You'll never accept not trying, because that's the key difference maker. So today I want to talk to you, really kind of share a thought that I feel like maybe some of you need to hear. And it's because it's something that, we all go through. At least I feel like most entrepreneurs and high-driven individuals do. When was the last time you woke up in the middle of the night? You're just mind racing, your eyes are wide open, you just can't sleep, which happens to a lot of entrepreneurs and individuals that are trying to strive to create their life. You're having all these thoughts and problems or ideas, or maybe it's even opportunities and being anxious about some great things that are coming. Or it could be anxiety or stress or depression or situations or circumstances. Well, the reason I bring this up is because I had kind of one of those nights last night, and I just thought to myself, I kind of stepped back a little and I thought, what happens when this happens? Like, what do you do? Does your mind keep racing? Does that little voice inside your head just start jabbing away, talking to you like mine tends to do, those little suckers inside there just talking to me? What happens? Do you let that voice kind of lead you down a path like it often does, where it's starting to talk to you about circumstances or doubts or concerns, and how we naturally tend to go kind of into an opposing negative type of thought pattern at times when you've got a lot of things going on, because that voice is the thing that keeps you awake a lot of times. Do you start talking back with it and having conversations, or worse yet, are you trying so hard to get to sleep that you just let it talk and talk and talk and talk? We talk about this because a lot of times, in fact, I've mentioned that book I like, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. We just have to understand, and this is something that I think I can never talk often enough about, that you are not your mind. You're the one listening to your mind. You're the one listening to the voice, not the voice. And you have to understand that this voice is going to say things that sometimes bring out, doubts and concerns and stuff that you have, things that you need to kind of get off your chest or that might be swirling around inside there. But the key is, how are you going to break this cycle, and ultimately at what point, right? The reason I bring this up is that you have a decision to make when things like that happen during your day, whether it's in the middle of the night or whether it's before a big presentation or whether it's while you're doing business. Are you going to let that voice and those thoughts distract you? Are you going to let them determine your direction? Are you going to let them just keep going down the road and you're not going to take any control? Are you going to get in the driver's seat and realize that you are not those voices, that you are not the thoughts you have, even if it's the positive thoughts that are taking you in a direction where you want to achieve and achieve more than you have? Or are you going to get in the driver's seat, and are you going to take control? Now, it'd be great if you could do it in the moment, but listen, I understand that it's sometimes harder in the moment than afterwards. But remember this, it's never too late for you to jump in the driver's seat of your life and become aware of what's going on. Oftentimes, I'll get going in the morning after having a long, restless night without sleep, and I'll decide at that moment in the morning to take control. But make no mistake, you need to make the decision to be in control of your life. And here's the point that I wanted to make with that. It's not when or how quickly or how effectively or the way that you get back in control or the driver's seat of your mind and your life. It's simply important that you do. And that's why I titled this episode, Your Next Step is the Most Important Step. It always is the most important step. It's not about what you've done in the past or how you've responded to situations that have happened in the past or reacted. It's not about what you're going to be doing in the future or where your life's taking you. All that matters is that in any given situation or any given moment in your life, that you take the next step. Because when you take the next step and take it in a direction that you most want to go, a direction that is in the direction of the life you most want to live, when you take that next step, then you've won the moment. You've won the battle. You've taken control. Because the only game you can play in life is the one in the moment. So you have to take control of your life in each of those moments, despite the past, present, or future circumstances. Do you realize the power of that? Do you realize the impact that your thoughts can have on your life? And that at any given moment, you can choose to step off the current path you're on, even if you've gotten off track and you're not going the direction you want to, most create for your life, and take one step onto the path. And that's when you will unleash your ultimate destiny. And I bring this up because so many of us sometimes get caught up in our thoughts and our mind and everything else. And it's a very overwhelming thing to think that you have to get back control of your thoughts or get back on track, when all you really need to focus on, the only thing you need to think about, is what are you going to do with your next step? As long as you're taking a step, no matter how big it is, forward, then you are going to create the life that you want to live. Because the momentum comes with motion. Motion creates emotion, and emotion creates actions, which create results, and that's all you can do. So I think, as always, that your perspective is most important. But if you can change your perspective to say, I'm just going to focus on that next step, especially when you're in difficult times. Obviously, when you're doing well, you can level up and you can work on things that'll help to unleash your potential even more. But what I'm saying to you here is that most of the time when you're struggling, or when you have things you're doing, or you even get distracted, or you get overwhelmed, or you're stressed, the very next step is the one that will take you on the right path. Only focus on the next step. It doesn't require any more than that. It doesn't require any more than being aware of where you're taking your next step. That conscious awareness is key. And so that's the thing that I really feel like some of you may want to think a little bit more on, and especially if you have a lot going on in your life. Stop getting overwhelmed with the past, the future, or even the present. Just take the very next step, because if you take the next step, you're going to be going in the direction you want. You're going to feel growth. You're going to feel movement. You're going to feel emotion, and it's going to get better. And I really believe that there are some amazing things that are going to be happening this year. I'm super excited about some stuff that we're going to be launching out. We had an amazing event over the weekend on Saturday. I'll tell you more details about that later on, with some global initiatives that we're working on and some books and things that will be coming out. I'm also super, super excited about the Stuberg Mentoring Academy that will be launching in the end of this month in April. And so I hope you're off to a good start. Remember, this is the first day of the rest of your life. It's March 1st. It's a Monday. Today's the day. Today is the day for you to be able to make a change and start going in the right direction. Only focus on and worry about that next step, and then the next step. So let's get moving today. I look forward to talking with you some more. Let me know what I can do to help you out. I appreciate you listening and joining me for the Daily Mastermind. Once again, my name is George Wright III, and this has been the Daily Mastermind. Have a great day.